significant if it would ever go into a Penn and Teller show. It would probably be about a year from now. But I want to talk about time in juggling. I've been alive about 550,000 hours, about 500,000 hours I've been alive. And I'm more than halfway through my life now. And I've realized that everything is how you budget time. And when I was 12 years old, and the major problem with time was not to make time last longer like it is now and spend more time with my family and in my life, but the time was to speed up time because I had nothing to do and I was born in Greenfield, Massachusetts. I decided to learn to juggle. And at that time juggling in the 60s when I was 12, juggling was a freak thing. It was a sideshow thing. It was a circus thing. It was not a jock thing. It was not a hip, fun thing to do. Regular guys did not know how to juggle. Maybe your one crazy uncle did, but nobody else. So I wanted to learn to juggle. And so I didn't have a book. I didn't know anybody that had juggle. I knew no one in show business. And I learned to juggle. And the first thing I learned to do was to do a juggling routine based on what I saw juggling was on cartoons, which is juggling on cartoons was like that. It was this, what's called the shower. Now that's the hardest way to start out juggling. I learned to do that. It probably took about 40 hours of my life to get it just to this level. To get it smooth like this was probably 100 hours. 100 hours during which I could have gotten all A's all through junior high. I learned to do this. And that was the wrong way to juggle. So then I went to the library and I took out a book called How to Juggle by Ken Bench, 3-ball juggling. And he taught a cascade. And the cascade he taught looked like this. So to go from that other way of juggling to this took about another 50 hours. And then I looked at the diagram after doing 50 hours of this and realized that I'd gotten it backwards. Because that isn't the way you juggle easiest. The way you juggle easiest is a cascade. And the cascade is not a reverse cascade, but a regular cascade. And the cascade is done like this, which is the really easy way to juggle and would have saved me about 175 hours. But I finally learned to do this. Actually, I learned to do this. To get like this was another 150 hours. To get it really smooth and really neat and really clean and nice. And then I decided that I wanted to get really good at juggling. My way to get really good at juggling was to just do this for hours and hours and hours. And downstairs in my parents' basement, because I wasn't allowed to juggle upstairs, the winters in Greenfield were too cold to juggle outside, I would see if I could do this for an hour without missing. An hour. And if I made it 45 minutes and then missed, I would start again with the hour. And then 2 hours. And then 3 hours. And I thought, well, maybe now it's time to learn a trick. And the first trick I learned was to throw one ball over the top of the other ones while doing that juggling. So I would just do this and then throw one ball over the top from my right hand. That was my first trick. That was 20 hours. My second trick was to learn to do that same thing left-handed. Another 20 hours. Then I thought I could learn to do 2 in one hand and 1 in the other. That would look like this: 2 in one hand and 1 in the other. Oops. I also learned about that time that the reason juggling hasn't gotten as successful as music is if you drop the balls and go to pick them up, you look like you're chasing a duck. I didn't want to chase a duck. So I learned 2 and 1 like this. And after I'd done that for a while, I had a huge breakthrough. And the huge breakthrough was that when doing 2 and 1, you could then add in comedy. $300, and the only laugh I've gotten was on the thing that took me 15 minutes. So, there you have in a nutshell my juggling career, and that quality of a 3-ball cascade could have cured cancer. That's kind of